Welcome to the Explainer. Have you ever wondered why a team that looks amazing on paper just fails? Well, today we're going to unlock the secrets to truly high-performing teams by breaking down the principles from the book Go Team by Ken Blanchard. We'll dig into how you can move a group that just works together to a team that actually wins together. All right, let's just dive right in with the question that keeps so many managers up at night. You go out, you assemble this team of all-stars, people who are smart, capable, really motivated. But instead of getting that incredible synergy, you get sluggishness. Instead of amazing results, you get meh. So what's going on? Well, the problem usually isn't the people, it's the outdated playbook they're being forced to use.
You know, the world today is fast, it's complex, it's always changing. And yet so many organizations are still running on a model that was built for a totally different era. You know the one, top-down, command and control? That traditional style, with its super rigid controls and painfully slow decision-making, it just can't keep up anymore. It completely stifles creativity and leads straight to low motivation and, you guessed it, poor performance.
And this brings us to what you could call a fundamental trap. The huge difference between a simple work group and a truly high-performing next-level team. And believe me, this isn't just about semantics. It is a completely different way of thinking about how work actually gets done.
See, a work group is reactive. They basically follow orders from a supervisor. But a next-level team, they're proactive. They're an empowered unit that takes collective ownership of the final results. And that right there, that's the paradigm shift. Moving from being followers who just do a job to being partners who actually own the outcome. So how in the world do you make that leap? Well, it all starts with the first key, information. And this means we have to radically rethink how communication flows through the team. The old model, right? It hoards information. The thinking is, knowledge is power, so managers hold it really close, only sharing things on a strict need-to-know basis. But next-level teams, they flip this script completely. They get that sharing information is what creates power. When you share openly, you're not giving power away. You're actually multiplying it by building trust and responsibility across the entire team. Just take a look at this example from a construction project. Management did something pretty radical. They showed the ironworkers the budget, something that's usually a closely guarded secret. So instead of just being told to work faster, they were given the context. And the result? They got curious, they took ownership, and they found ways to beat the budget by a whopping 25%. $4 million. No, that is not a typo. That is the annual revenue gain at an auto parts plant, all from sharing one little piece of information. A manager told his team that their competitors could change this massive machine die in just 10 minutes. At the time, his team was taking 2.5 hours. Well, once they knew what was possible, they completely shattered the record, getting it down to just 5 minutes. Now that's the power of shared information.
Okay, so the second key to building this kind of team is all about redefining boundaries. But this can feel a bit counterintuitive because the goal isn't to restrict people. It's actually to set them free within a really clear framework. Think about it. Traditional boundaries are like barbed wire fences, these rigid policies that are just designed to control people. And you know what they say? When you put fences around people, you get sheep. The next level approach uses boundaries more like rubber bands. They're clear, but they're flexible guidelines that define a safe playing field. They don't tell you what you can't do, they create a space where you can act with autonomy. To really get this idea, just think of a Japanese koi fish. If you keep a koi in a little fishbowl, it's only ever going to grow to be a few inches long. But if you put that same exact fish into a large pond, well, it can grow up to 3 feet long. The size of the fish is determined by the size of its environment, and the same is absolutely true for people. This is the whole point of next-level boundaries. They're not about limiting your team, they are about giving them a much bigger pond to swim in, creating the space for them to truly grow. All right, so this brings us to our third and final key, self-management. And this is the ultimate shift in power. It's all about moving from that top-down control to the team managing its own day-to-day work. In a traditional work group, the supervisor is the center of everything, making all the decisions, holding all the responsibility. And the goal is pretty simple, just get the tasks done. But in a next-level team, the team itself becomes the center. They're the ones making decisions, they share their responsibility, and the goal shifts from just doing the work to achieving great results.
So you might be wondering, does this stuff actually work in the real world? Oh yeah, absolutely. In the convenience store industry, employee turnover averages a staggering 180%.
But one chain that adopted these principles, they saw their turnover plummet to just 70%. People weren't just staying longer, they were way more engaged and loyal.
And you know, it's not just about happier employees. It is about delivering incredible, measurable results. A telecommunications company that really embraced this model saw its teams generate ideas that saved the company hundreds of thousands of dollars. See, when you give people ownership, they stop just pointing out problems and they start creating the solutions.
So how do you actually get there? I mean, this isn't an overnight switch you can just flip. It's a journey, and it has a clear, 3-step path.
It's a really progressive path. First, you begin by learning the foundational skills, things like sharing information and setting those clear boundaries. Then, as the team starts to get comfortable with that, you accelerate the change by widening those boundaries and sharing even more sensitive information. And then finally, you focus on mastering these skills until this new way of operating just becomes second nature.
Ultimately, this is the really profound cultural transformation that you're aiming for. You are systematically replacing a culture of self-interest, dependency, and top-down control with a powerful new culture that's built on partnership, shared responsibility, and genuine commitment from every single person on the team.
And that brings us to our final thought. As you think about all this, take a hard look at your own team or your organization. Are your rules and your processes acting like those barbed wire fences? Or are they creating freedom? And here's a challenge for you. What is one boundary you could change, maybe even tomorrow, to give your team a bigger pond to swim in? Think about it. The potential you unlock might just completely astound you.